the very, very few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.
All right. You're it. Renee, you're it. Come on in.
I'm it. We're both it. We're all it. You're it. Yes, individual and plural.
One more week. Oh my gosh. It's like they're putting bombs in pagers in like the Israelis are like doing everything that the Nazis did to the Jewish people. Man, oh man, what is happening there? Okay, no forgiveness there. Wait a second. They put pagers, they put bombs in pagers, and they collude with a Chinese manufacturer to do such a thing. And it's got to be, this is really diabolic.
And I want to make this clear that those plans were made like before October 7th. They actually arranged all that over like a year ago.
Oh, you see, this is what you're bringing to the table. See, I wasn't really focused on that part, but that's a very, very cogent, super, okay, when you're talking about smoking gun kind of evidence. Now here, let's just really clear up a few things before we get, I'm going to actually button up and stop this ridiculous behavior like I'm a rock and roll star or something. Okay, I got to talk to y'all because what's going on here is we're being set up for like the big long con, but this time it's actually going to backfire because the people are really getting back involved with the government the way it should have been. It's being delivered to us by a woman who understands beyond our comprehension what this really means. She knows what that, okay, to emancipate people, as Lincoln did through the Emancipation Proclamation, to turn the whole thing from white people to all people was the big moment in the Lincolnian Republic. That's the grand old party that we celebrate. Okay? You remember that, Renee?
Yep, I absolutely do.
You know, GOP means grand old party,
Grand
right?
old party, Lincoln.
Like, what does that mean? And then why did they put elephant as the basic icon of the grand old party? Well, we know that one thing for sure is that elephants and human beings share one thing in common. We respect our elders. Elephants really respect their old elephants. And that may have been something that we learned from the woolly mammoth. If you think about early human beings and how we developed our, natural instincts, maybe we did it through observation, maybe we did it through trial and error, usually both, a combination of all these things, right? Hunter gatherer, we're looking at how, I don't even know. But what happened to us is we do the same things. The other one is whales. Whales respect their elders. So here we respect our elders. So the elders, so maybe, okay, so why the elephant again? I'm going to find out more because we are not conspiracy theorists. You and I we don't go for that crap. We're not a theory kind of people. When it comes to theory, we know that certain things will work in theory better than other things if we follow the way. That's the theory, that if we go the certain way, we can go along with, then we can get what we need out of what we need. That's it. The earth will provide for us. The universe will provide for us what we need if we go along with the way. If we continue to go against the way, we will continue to struggle. Are you with me on that one?
Absolutely. So there's one way. That's why you're saying the way. You're not saying all the ways or different ways. You're saying the way. You're using the singular.
Way. There's only the way. There is the way of building. There is the way of breathing. There's a way of living. There's the way. But see, this is the thing about remember the law of correspondence. It says that everything's happening at the same time. Okay, so the question is, why the elephant? Well, the elephant also respects its elders. It also is a tribal culture. It's a grand old thing. What is about the elephant that we always used to say? There was like a riddle. The elephant never does what?
Never forgets.
Oh, snap,
Never forgets.
snap, snap. We never forget that all men are created equal. All people are created equal. All equal people are sexual people. All people are different colors. Gray represents everybody. The gray represents everybody. The wisdom of the people by the elephant, for the people, by the people. The grand old party.
Yep.
Now, Democrats come in. They are the ass, the donkey. But what is the thing about the donkey that makes it so that you would actually bring it? Oh, there you go. That grand old party. That's Lincoln smashing his opponents with a landslide, with a referendum to move forward. And not only that, but to move forward. Most of the people were about what Lincoln wanted to do, which was give low income loans and zero income loans, like what to do with all these free Negro people. He asked, who is the spokesperson, the eloquent spokesperson for the Negro people? Douglas, right? Who is the great spokesperson? Anyway, I'm being just a total idiot and not being able to think of who. Of course, the great Douglas, Black Douglas, who wanted to do
Frederick.
well. Frederick Douglass, thank you very much. Who basically created liber. Okay, so Liberia is named after Liberia, which was given to them. It was given to them by Lincoln. So Liberia is a Lincoln legacy. Then the question was to go back into Haiti, go back into Dominican Republic, and free those people. Because remember, did you do your homework with? Thank you, baby. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have you done your homework with Roy Casagrande?
I've been watching him on YouTube.
Do you remember what happened when he came to Haiti?
Trying to remember.
Okay, well, he sent a letter to Queen Isabella saying these are the nicest people in the world, they're the greatest folks he's ever met, never met anybody with higher character or any kind of thing like this. He said that they were so generous, they would give them everything. They saved them from the death of shipwreck. They gave everything to these strange people, and the people stayed there and gave them a fort, and then they gave them venereal disease and people started dying from the sex, and they were giving them free. They gave them their women, of course, and they gave them everything.
And now Donald Trump is talking about Haitian immigrants
Hold
eating
on, hold
bats.
on, exactly. Wait a second, let me finish because they came back. What Columbus shared with Queen Isabella was the fact that the Haitian people were the finest people he ever met. And that with a few hundred men, he could make them all slaves. But when he got there, he took a few hundred men and completely decimated everybody he could see because they burned down the fort. And because without even asking why, because they had to burn it down because of the disease, they were trying to keep the disease from ramping the whole thing. The people, their own shipmates said you have to burn it in order to stop this disease because that's what we do with the plague. But before asking any questions, they decimated the entire people population. And then that was the thank you and how you do, and like, oh, welcome to Jesus Christ and the Catholic Church. So let's remember this when we start talking about Haitian people. We owe them everything. Okay, they had it all, and we stole it. And then we continued that rampage throughout the entire region. Next, we went to Mexico. Next, we went to Florida. Next, we went to all up and down. We just ravaged the whole United States with this whole ridiculous nation of who's better. You know, Hispaniola was what it was, but before that was Haiti, and then the whole thing was a continent with everything you could possibly imagine. It was a Garden of Eden. It had been that way for as long as anyone could remember. As long as anybody could remember. The folks in Mississippi, moving up the Mississippi River Delta, were living on corn, beans, and squash. They had not decimated their meat stock in North America, so they were eating a good amount of deer or game or whatever was necessary. Other Indians followed, the buffalo herds and worked with them and the wolves and all the other animals in a balanced relationship, forever. Now, what is forever? The forever that we are, it's always been like we've just destroyed everything we see. That's what it looks like to me. Like if you take this moment in time, you would say this group of people have no idea what they're doing on the surface of planet Earth. In fact, we had this entire talk, with another group of people, and that's why I live at Art City, and that's why I come here to talk about this, because we have no idea how to live on Earth. We've forgotten everything we ever knew. So let's go back in. Let's go back and see one of my Smoking Hot Black Swan songs, and let's take a break. And we'll check in with you after a little musical interlude. Oh, you know what I want to play? I want to play a few minutes of John Trudell's talk, because we got to go into this. This is really the entire expose. I don't know if we have time for the entire thing. Let's just go for.
Oh yeah, hold on. It's gonna take me a second I gotta get that. John Trudell or the Black Swan.
Well, John Trudell is really good. I mean, if we can get a piece
John
of it.
Trudell is like the best. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna find it. It's gonna give me a second though.
Because John, he laid it out. We can start from there, because we're talking about this week on One Whole Earth. And what you have to understand is that this week was like last week, which was like, 14 years ago, which was maybe like 40 years ago. But this is this week. And now we're in this, we're going to go with a blue tsunami. Harris and Walz are getting elected without question. Trump has to get a blue thing. Now there's going to be some violence, in isolated pockets of violence. But there's going to be continued little warm spots of violence, which is going to continue to just plague us. I think, for a couple of generations. We're not ready. These people are going to, continue to mess with our government.
Right. It's we're already seeing violence globally, like you talked about at the beginning. I mean, we're having wars and genocides and ethnic cleansings and famines.
Always willing to do whatever that takes, and then whatever's going to go on any place else. I mean, it's going to get uglier. I mean, that's what it says. That's what John says.
Right.
So
let's
you think,
yep.
Yeah, let's spend some time with John Trudell.
We're faced with a very serious situation in this generation. There are insane people who wish to rule the world. They wish to continue to rule the world on violence and repression. And we are all the victims of that violence and repression. We, as the indigenous people of the Western Hemisphere, have been resisting this violence and this oppression for 500 years. We know that the black people have been resisting it for at least that long. And we know that the white people have had to endure it thousands of years. And now it's come full swing to this generation that we live in. Nuclearization of the world. You see, we cannot allow this to continue to go on. We cannot do it. See, we cannot expect that the pro-nuclear oppressor, that other side, we cannot expect that they're going to change for us. They are going to become more brutal. They're going to become more repressive, because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power. We have to reestablish our identity. We have to understand who we are and where we fit in the natural order of the world. because our oppressor deals in illusions. They tell us that it is power, but it is not power. They may have all the guns, and they may have all the racist laws and judges, and they may control all the money, but that is not power. These are imitations of power, and they are only power because in our minds we allow it to be power. But it's all an imitation. Racism and violence, racism and guns, economics, the brutality of the American corporate state way of life is nothing more than violence and repression, and it has nothing to do with power. It is brutality. It is a lack of a sane, it's a lack of a sane balance. The people who have created this system and they perpetuate this system, they are out of balance. They have made us out of balance. They have come into our minds and they've come into our hearts and they've programmed us because we live in this society, and they've put us out of balance. And because we are out of balance, we no longer have the power to deal with them. They have conquered us as a natural power. See, we are power. They deal in violence and repression. We are power. We are a part of the natural world. All of the things of the natural world are a natural part of the creation and feed off the energy of our sacred Mother Earth. We are power. But they have separated us from our spiritual connection to the earth, so people feel powerless. We look at the oppressor and we look at the enemy because they have the most guns and the most lies and the most money. People start to feel powerless. We are power. We are a natural part of the creation. We were put here on the sacred Mother Earth to serve a purpose. And somewhere in the history of people, we're forgetting what the purpose is. The purpose is to honor the earth. The purpose is to protect the earth. The purpose is to live in balance with the earth. The earth is our mother. And we will never free ourselves as human people. We will never free ourselves as sexual people. We will never free ourselves until we address the issue of how we live in balance with the earth. Because all of our resistance and all of our struggle is hollow. It's false. It's another one of those oppressors' hypocrisies. If we do not look out for the welfare of the earth first, because I do not care who it is, any child that turns on their mother is living in a terrible, terrible confusion. The earth is our mother. We must take care of the earth. They pollute. This oppressor, this machine that has gone mad and run amok, it is berserk. They keep telling us, progress. They keep telling us face reality. Well, let's deal with reality. Reality is the earth can no longer take this attack. We can no longer allow this thing to continue where it's polluting the air. It's polluting the water, polluting our food. They pollute the air, they pollute the water, they pollute our food, they pollute our minds. They put us out of balance. They have made us be insecure with ourselves. They have put us into a situation where we have to play many roles. We got to be chauvinist, or we got to be on some kind of a class trip or some kind of an illusionary power trip. We got to play a role. See, we got to play a role to communicate with other people. We got to go through this charade because they have attacked our self-confidence. They have attacked our self-confidence, and they have made us to listen to them. They have made us to believe that they are power, but they are not. They are violent and they are brutal, but they are not power. We are a natural part of the earth. As a natural part of the earth, we have the energy and the power that is the earth. The earth will take care of us if we will remember the earth in more than just our words. If we will remember the earth in our way of life. We are all here to play a role, and all of the animals and all of the life on the earth is playing its proper role except the human people. Somehow we are betraying our purpose here, and that is why we live in the confusion that we live in. They tell us, they want us to believe that we are powerless. We are a natural part of the earth. We are an extension of that natural energy which is spirit and which is power. Power. A blizzard is power. An earthquake is power. A tornado is power.
Well, there you go. Thank you. So we are the power. We have the power. It has to come from within you. And they're sucking, they're working it with us to try to get us to not see what's going on. We're always being shown, the switcheroo. That's why we have to divine that image ourselves. We have to see what it can be. Now, that's what the point of the game is to keep it simple. So you're not getting all involved with like global issues. No one can do that. We can only work on what we're doing, and that is a place to sleep, water, and food. What you bring into your body is going to bring what you get out of it. Okay? That gives you the energy, whether you want to go up or down. I mean, I struggle with it too. We're all struggling with it. So, watch your water intake, watch your vitamin intake, eat well, live right, do the best you can, have a good time doing it, play Whole Earth game. Listen to our music and then chime in on that. So that's what we're doing. But pretty soon we're going to be taking it on the road. We got to go with Air Cube, and we got to do some water catchment. We're going to be doing some other things. So that's going to be fun. All with the intention of reclaimed threads. So everything I do is for my daughter Emma, who created reclaimed threads based on watching Project Runway with her dad, and talking about fashion and how fashion with landfill products. And look at this, just fantastic line of clothing. I hope you can go down there, go online and see what she has, and if you're into that type of thing. But they can custom design anything you want. So the folks down the way are having a blazing party. We're having Art Week here at Art City, somewhere nowhere in Ventura, but they've got a Kraken band down the way. I'm going to go see that on the way out. I'm just jealous it's not me playing. But Tribal Me was here, and we put together a nice set for this week at Art, and that was, brilliant. So now we got war everywhere, way more than we can handle. We got, looks like we got to get a blue tsunami. So if you know anybody, and then you can vote Democratic. So it switched over. Obviously, it switched over, at the time of Eisenhower, kind of moved from, well, a Democrat, like the small d Democrat with Roosevelt, took that party and made it, of the people, by the people. But he was working again, he's another insider that knew what was going on with the super mega rich. Okay, so Roosevelt is a great example, and I'm not sure why he hasn't come up more in conversation, but that is a great example of a person who had a lot of money coming into the game and used that for the benefit of all people. He really went up against all of his rich oligarchic friends, and that's what made him a target. And he was able to do it with polio, and he was able to do it with a super strong wife. Eleanor Roosevelt was a full-on, equal rights, person, a person we don't talk about much either, that she needs to be brought up into the conversation. The Roosevelts, that's not even Teddy Roosevelt is another great example of a bull nose, a bull moose Republican. Bull moose Republican. Bull moose Republican was the last great Republican who really fought the big corporations for the people, by the people. Teddy Roosevelt, just another great icon in American history, and who we look to as an example of what, we want to be like. And this is where Kamala Harris, leans on all of the great things that we want to see in a person and a president. She leans on Lincoln. She leans on Roosevelt. She leans on Roosevelt again. Like Teddy Roosevelt is someone who protected our forests, who fell in love and worked, got thrown off of horses and had to work and worked his ass off, in the trenches, because you can't fake taking cattle to herd. You cannot fake taking, horses to market. You cannot fake it. You can't do it. They were rustlers, and all that stuff was real, and he went through it. Then he rode up San Juan Hill and was able to somehow liberate Puerto Rico, and that's why we have Puerto Rico, is because of, and then the Cuban, expansion into Cuba, and then he's also involved with the Haiti and the Dominican Republic affair. I don't know. I have to do more work. If you want to send the comment section, send me some links about where to go. I'll be happy to see them and not, object at all. Please send links to whatever history that is going to, help make our cause, that much stronger. So one or two more people coming our way. So if it takes Teddy Roosevelt to get your vote, we'll use Teddy. If it takes, Eleanor, we'll use her for sure. And of course, if it takes, Franklin, he was for the people, by the people. Okay. Truman might have been the guy that switched the corner. Like Truman had some things in the pile. Obviously, he had to play games with the whole Oppenheimer group. He had to he had to make the decision to drop the bomb on Japan. And that stuff is absolutely, without question, some of the hardest things that any person would ever have to do. And history falls on his side that somehow we did the right thing. So I'll stick with that. I'll go that far with it. I know that, that things out beyond that are a little sketchy. And definitely through my life, the things have been sketchy. And this is just coming around right now. So Kamala Walls go back to the people's government if we push them in that direction. We cannot let up the pressure once this gets done. We have to continue forward. And I think our youth is ready for that challenge. I think that our crystal children, our late indigo children and crystal children are programmed knowing the difference between right and wrong. And you don't have to explain to a 5-year-old, somebody took the ball and won't give it up. And I'll end it right there. So see you on the other side. Next week we'll be closer to the election. You'll be ready to go, and we're going to get a blue tsunami. We have to purge MAGA, every seat blue, everything. And now we're going after the Senate, and then we got to go after and clean up the bench. We got to go to this unsupreme bullshit court and actually put integrity back into the court, because it's for our protection that we have 3 branches of government, right? That's 3. It's a crystal. The crystal is the triangle. The triangle is the thing, the service, the whatever. It's the most stalwart form. And, the 3 is really tough. So anyway, off you go. I'll see you next time.
One of the very, very few people getting this message. We want to prove to the whole world that the impossible dream can happen.